with elections due in December, Gujarat is well and truly in election mode. Perhaps the biggest prestige battle of all for the BJP, since it happens to be the home state of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The battle has actually begun on social media with a viral anti-BJP campaign that seems to have stirred things up quite a bit. Vikas has gone crazy, may have gone viral, but are social media campaigns enough to win elections? Joining us on the program tonight, we have with us Divya Spandana, the social media and digital communications head of the Congress party, Swati Chaturvedi, senior journalist. Here in the studio with us, Ejaz Ilmi, member of the BJP, Tehseen Poonawala, Congress supporter and entrepreneur, joining us from Mumbai, and Shaina NC, spokesperson of the BJP, also joining us in just a little while from now. Divya, let me take this to you first. A lot of people are commenting how Rahul Gandhi's Twitter account has suddenly become far more active and far more witty. So a lot of people, I think, just want to know whether he's tweeting himself or whether you're doing it.
Thank you for asking me that question. I've been dying to tell people that it's not me who's tweeting from his account, it's him. I'm not half as witty as he is, and all that you're reading, the stuff that people are enjoying, it's all him.
So what explains the change? Because his Twitter account wasn't active like this even a few months ago. What suddenly changed? It's like he drank something and, you know, something's completely changed.
No. No, it's him. I mean, I think people who've met him, right, on a one-on-one know that he has an extremely good sense of humor. He's very wise and he's very aware. And I think that's showing now. I think in the past, he was a bit more apprehensive about expressing himself freely on Twitter. I think now he's a bit more freer in terms of just expressing himself.
Well, Ejaz, let me just ask you as a BJP member of the BJP, it's interesting that we're also seeing the BJP as a party reacting more and more to Rahul Gandhi, not just on Twitter, but in general. But, you know, there are references now to the tweets that he makes. What do you think of him as someone on the opposing side? Do you think that the tweets have certainly acquired a different tone in the last few months?
You know, more important than that is that it's such an important integral thing of social media, both for politics and also in your as an individual when you express yourself. So it's important to not only answer back, but to express your views. Now, if Mr. Rahul Gandhi's account there are a lot of tweets coming, so he's getting more notice in terms there has to be, if he's making allegations and accusations or his political positioning, then there are times when the political party has to answer. You can't maintain silence on certain allegations or certain situations. The more he does use social media, because the BJP has been employing social media for a very, very long time, we realize it's a very integral part of politics and politicking and messaging to the polity regarding your development.
So do you think the Congress has actually learnt now how to sort of play that game?
I guess globally every leader is on Twitter, and that's how they're conveying to their own supporters, to the media and to the public at large as to what their mind is all about, how they're reacting to situations nationally, internationally. So I think it's a very integral part, and we must learn to encompass. Plus, it's about individuals. Like Spandana just spoke about, that he was maybe apprehensive. So people are apprehensive as individuals, but as politicians, there's an old saying that if you can't stand the heat, you need to get out of the kitchen. So that's what's happening to everybody.
But Swati, as a journalist who's been watching the sort of political battles over the last few years so closely, you know, the BJP is actually the master of the social media game. There's no question about it, and I think that still continues to be the case. It's interesting, though, how the opposition and the Congress in particular has caught up in the last few months. And what do you attribute that to? Is it, you know, advice that they're getting from other quarters? What is it?
Well, I think you're right, Nidhi. It is advice they're getting from some other quarters, because earlier Rahul Gandhi had the most, you know, office of Rahul Gandhi is so impersonal. I don't know, Divya Spandana said he's managing the account himself. I know that at least 4 months earlier there were two people who were handling his account, so he was not tweeting directly by himself. But having said that, I still think BJP is, you know, was the first mover. It was like a giant on social media, and even right now Narendra Modi is obsessed with social media. So I think that Congress is a bit of a cheeky upstart, and which is why the BJP is so upset, because they were the masters of the game, and suddenly, you know, his tweets, I agree with you, are very funny, and I think they're getting a lot of traction.
Well, Shaina, how are you seeing it? You know, the sarcastic tweets of Rahul Gandhi. Do you, I mean, have some of them made you laugh? Can you admit that? Or, you know, just, you know, politically on a more serious note, what do you think of this new Rahul, this new Congress that is also being aggressive on social media now?
Well, social media, Nidhi, is clearly a double-edged sword, and I think that we're all prepared for the backlash as well as the praise, and I think everyone who is on this platform should be ready for the kind of backlash that you get sometimes. However, you asked me about Mr. Rahul Gandhi. I think that he finally can have a vocational training that will give him the absolute privilege of being on Kapil Sharma's show, but I don't think that this is what a serious leader or a young leader should be espousing towards. I mean, you can have sarcasm, you can have criticism, but the point needs to be much more concrete. If you look at Narendra Modi's entire profile and the kind of traction he gets, it's because it's a comment. It's a comment on political policy, it's a comment on issues, it's a comment which makes people understand what his mindset is vis-a-vis any issue. So if you feel that you'd rather play some kind of sarcastic joke, then I think the right forum is Kapil Sharma's show probably.
Well, Tehseen Poonawala is joining us. Tehseen, you want to weigh in on that? Shaina saying that Rahul Gandhi is auditioning for Kapil Sharma's show. That's how she's seeing his new Twitter avatar.
Well, you know, there was a gentleman who said that politics requires, he hopes that there is more sense of humor and more laughter that comes into politics. That gentleman was the Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So Shaina's clearly not listening to what her own Prime Minister says. As to the second part of what Shaina NC said, that, you know, the Prime Minister regularly engages on topics of national importance. I know for a fact the two issues that I am very deeply involved with, which is mob lynching, and the other issue was the Gauri Lankesh murder, and a couple of other issues that have been communal issues. The Prime Minister has never ever spoken up about. The media's also come out and protested about the Gauri Lankesh and the Prime Minister's silence on that. There's also the issue on allegations made on Amit Shah's son. The Prime Minister has never chosen to address. So the Prime Minister uses social media for a one-way communication. He doesn't listen to people. On the other hand, Rahul Gandhi, his Twitter handle is reflecting what the people of this country are thinking, which is why today there is so much traction on his account.
Rahul Gandhi's Twitter handle is also one-way communication. He doesn't reply to tweets. He doesn't take, he doesn't take questions from people. He doesn't, take questions from the media, let alone, Twitter followers. It's one-way communication pretty much for many leaders on Twitter, including the Prime Minister and Rahul Gandhi, isn't it?
You're factually wrong on that, Nidhi. While I would concede to you that Rahul Gandhi is not given a one-on-one interview recently to anybody, I personally have seen him communicating with the media, your field reporters. He keeps giving sound bites to the media reporters. He keeps taking their questions. He's been giving sound bites. The famous video that went viral, I think Swati was the first one to tweet it with a reporter in Gujarat. He was having an exchange with the reporter. It was a witty exchange with. So, and we are too obsessed with Twitter. Twitter is one aspect of social media. Ramya will tell you, Divya will tell you more. There's so much of social media happening with Rahul Gandhi and the Congress. There's YouTube happening. There is WhatsApp happening. So there's so much of communication that's happening. It is clearly not a one-way communication. Rahul Gandhi, if at all, is engaging. We saw his engagements in the United States of America. He took tough questions. They took tough questions in Bangalore from students.
I'm talking about a Twitter engagement. But Divya, let me ask you, the question is,
and if he's not
we're seeing social media being used.
Sure. The BJP?
In Gujarat, we're seeing social media being used in a big way, and that's essentially what's kicked off the campaign there. Divya, the question though is, will that be enough to win an election? Certainly the Congress is generating a lot of buzz online, but ultimately the campaign has to be done on the ground, away from social media.
Okay, I'm just going to go back to your earlier question which you asked, Tehseen, and I think you are right. As of now, he's not really engaging with people on Twitter. He's not responding, he's not replying or taking questions. That's a very good point to be noted, and it is something that we have discussed, and he has said that he will in the future, maybe once he changes his handle from Office of RG to his personal handle, and then he will engage with people, because right now we're just 5 months into this whole change that you're seeing, and it's a process, we're testing, we're experimenting, and it's one of the things that, we have received as suggestions from a lot of people, and this is something that we will be doing in the future, hopefully soon. And Tehseen, I must say that Nidhi is right on that one. As far as elections are concerned, Well, I can't really tell, right? Elections is something that you can't really be sure of because there are so many factors that actually sort of, you know, give you results. But if we were to look at 2014 elections, I don't think the media was, I mean, as Prime Minister Modi puts it, that they weren't exactly on his side, right? So they use social media as a platform to communicate with people. And that's where Congress, you know, I think made a mistake because we weren't out there countering the attacks or even communicating with people. So I think social media played a big role in the 2014 elections. And I think that even today, social media plays a big role, as we've also seen with the US presidential elections. Social media has a huge impact, and I think it will continue to do so. And therefore, it's imperative that all political parties engage and listen and sort of, you know, use the platform effectively. Well, now, having said that, very few times have online campaigns translated offline, right? So, for example, when we had this whole Vikas Gando Tayoche, that is Vikas has gone crazy campaign online, and Mr. Gandhi was in Gujarat and he was on his bus yatra, Navsarjan Rahul Yatra, and we were watching it live, and he actually took the mic and he said, Vikas ko kya ho gaya? And people actually responded saying Vikas Gando Tayoche, and all of us just erupted with, you know, we were also happy because we never expected people to have known this.
So you're saying it's making an impact, which is interesting.
Because these people...
Yeah, no, you're saying it's making an impact. I want to ask Ajaz about that.
These are not people who are on Twitter or Facebook.
Yeah, but just WhatsApp forwards, and you know, we're a country obsessed with...
WhatsApp that worked.
Yeah, exactly. It's not about people on Twitter and Facebook. It is actually WhatsApp forwards. I mean, you know, you get up in the morning, you must be on 40 WhatsApp groups like me, Ajaz, but... is that something that worries the BJP, that something like this can go viral? How do you look at this, for example, the popularity of the Vikas gone crazy in Gujarat?
Well, listen, the narrative is always matched by a counter narrative. Politically, one has to address these things. If there are people who are posting in WhatsApp groups and otherwise, and something is finding traction, then the BJP as a political response has to be a political response that we believe in development per se, which is why the Prime Minister evidently in the largest rally yesterday, he spoke about Vikaswad as being the core piece and the central piece that the BJP, the reason why he said the BJP's won elections in 2012, 7 and prior to that has been because it had an agenda for development which impacted people of Gujarat by a large extent, and he continues on that same agenda.
But did he have to reiterate that because something like this has actually gone viral and captured sort of headlines in Gujarat?
Development is never, there's no full stop for development. It's an ongoing process because look at the statistics of Indian citizens, and it applies to every state. You need to continue the hard work till the last man actually
So you're saying it's not necessarily a response to the social media campaign?
No,
let me ask Shaina on that, because Shaina, obviously somewhere what is happening on social media in Gujarat has sort of weighed in on the BJP as well. You had Amit Shah, who was telling party workers in Gujarat not so long ago, I think partly exasperated, saying don't believe everything that's being circulated on WhatsApp and beware of, you know, fake forwards and so on. So it's interesting that he said that at a time when this, you know, campaign was also happening. So clearly, I mean, I think the BJP of all parties does realize the power that social media has.
We have always realized the power of social media, but that does not mean we don't concentrate on the grassroots and at the booth level, which has always been our philosophy from the very, very, very beginning. Now, coming to your point, there are two things. One is this kind of fake news, fake propaganda, morphed videos, etc. People they are entitled to do whatever form of propaganda, but you must understand that social media is a platform to communicate, and if you are unable to communicate, you cannot have our leadership responding to every piece of fake news or pseudo-secular news, etc. So I think that we must understand that if every party is entitled to their own strategy on social media, on ground, off ground, both, this being the 21st century where every single person has a smartphone, we need to counter it with corrective facts too. So I think that this is exactly what we're doing, and when you cite examples, one sees a sense of insecurity when it comes to, just posturing and kind of making up stories and believing that, everyone should respond to it.
But what
Clearly
did you
not.
think of
You
the
respond
Vikas
to
has
what
gone
you
crazy
factually
campaign,
need to,
China?
and
What do
you
you
have
think
to
of that?
distinguish between communication and
Why
propaganda.
do you think Vikas has gone crazy, became
Sorry?
so popular? Why has the Vikas has gone crazy social media sort of campaign in Gujarat? Why do you think that picked up so much, got so much traction? I don't know whether it's going to translate into votes, but certainly it's created a buzz.
First and foremost, when it comes to the Congress party, do you even see Mr. Rahul Gandhi campaigning? You see him very rarely. So it is for his entire entourage of Congress workers to feel enthused or feel dissatisfied. It is their prerogative what they choose to do. As far as we are concerned, we are only talking development. We are only talking about the inclusive policies that we have taken on, all of which have been highlighted from top leadership as well as social media, even at the ward level and at the booth level.
But Mr. Modi
so
spent
you have
most of his rally on Monday in Gujarat attacking the Gandhi family and the Congress. So the focus, I mean, I'm just pointing out that the focus isn't entirely on development.
Well, I heard that speech, Nidhi.
The focus isn't entirely on development. There's a lot of focus on the Congress.
So
I'm wondering whether somewhere the Congress is,
and I think that
has
we're
been able to
entitled
stir something.
When there is...
No, Swati, yeah, go ahead. You want to weigh in on that?
That could be your own. That could be your own assessment.
Yeah,
okay.
Nidhi,
it's
two
clearly
things.
not of public's.
Nidhi, two things. The very fact that BJP, the BJP president is panicking about WhatsApp forward is like, look who's talking. I mean, this is the party which had mastered the dark arts of propaganda. As I investigated in my book, I Am a Troll. I mean, this is a party which had mastered fake news, fake WhatsApp forwards. For them to be panicking is a huge deal. And second of all, I don't think the Gujarat campaign is all about development, as Shaina is saying. I mean, he was making Mr. Modi was making personal attacks yesterday. So, the very fact that, that this giant is panicking and saying, don't believe it, is very telling to me. Because I'm slightly incredulous that Amit Shah is warning people about fake WhatsApp forwards. That was the BJP's mastery, according to the research I did for my book.
Well, Ijaz had an interjection there.
I want to tell Swati that you can see it as a Johnny-come-lately kind of situation. That we've been masters at this game, the BJP has been masters at this game. We intend to continue, use this as a platform to communicate effectively,
On the
directly.
fake WhatsApp game.
No, on the WhatsApp also, there are different layers of social media. I mean, people...
There's the real layer, the fake layer.
They're all layers. I mean, they're different. There's LinkedIn, there's social media, there's Facebook, there's WhatsApp, there's Twitter. There are multiple layers.
You guys warning people is strange.
So if we tell our workers, the booth workers, our page workers on the ground, that we need to be alive to a situation, to campaigns which are directed against the party, it's a political response. And the leadership is well entrenched in its right to tell the workers that this is a battle that if people are joining this battle on this platform of social media, we need to counter that effectively with the messaging of the positives that we intend to do, and we have done in Gujarat.
But Tehseen Poonawala wants to come in on that. Tehseen, ultimately, though, I come back to the question that whether the Congress would be making a mistake in thinking a positive response on social media would necessarily mean a positive response in the election.
I'll answer that, but I just need to clarify a couple of points, Nidhi. When Ijaz spoke about the WhatsApp history and today the BJP being a little afraid of it, I often joke with people that there are different kinds of history. There is modern history, ancient history, Roman history, and then there's the BJP's WhatsApp history. It starts from Babur and Ghazni, and it's a history filled with hatred which is circulated, which is about rumor mongering and hate mongering. So when Shaina says that all BJP spreads on WhatsApp is about facts, it's not true. Contrary to that, the WhatsApp today that we are getting that either makes you laugh or the WhatsApp that questions the government, perhaps because in mainstream media there isn't so much questioning as North Korean channels are famously called by Arun Shourie, on the government, there is the WhatsApp where people are resonating their economic woes. And I think the Congress, with the whole changes, is riding that. It's also adding to it. I think there is a difference between the two WhatsApps that is reaching people's phones. One is hate-felt, one is the economic situation. Having said that, coming to whether social media will be enough to win you Gujarat, no, nobody believes that. least of all, I think the Congress would be naive to believe that just because they're riding a social media wave, they're going to win Gujarat. It requires tremendous organizational work. It requires tremendous work on the ground. And I think today, for the first time, the party is enthused. The cadres are enthused in a long time. The fact that after 22 years of ruling Gujarat, the Prime Minister, and 4 years of ruling from Delhi, the Prime Minister blames the Congress for Gujarat not developing is a telling statement. And what Swati says, that the masters of the game are today the ones who are crying victims, I think that's a good turnaround for the Congress. It's a good beginning. It's definitely not the end, but it's a good start for the Congress. It needs to capitalize.
Well, as Ajaz says, they're not crying.
I
think they're
crying about it.
You're flattered that they're trying to play catch up.
We're happy that the Congress is truly understanding the import and the importance of social media and has joined the battle. We welcome that battle and we intend to give it back as good as we get.
Well, Divya was smiling and I think actually laughing at some of the things. Shaina was saying, why? What was it that she said that you found so funny?
You caught that on camera?
Yes.
No, no, because she was saying we need to counter the fake propaganda. I mean, who's you know, sharing fake propaganda? It is the BJP, and I thought that was quite amusing. I like Shaina, but you know, the stuff that she was saying was a bit amusing to me, especially on the fake propaganda.
Well, it's clear that the social media wars have only just begun, and this is going to be a very interesting election, and I think ahead of the next general election, even more interesting. I think we'll be flooded with posts on Twitter, Facebook, and certainly WhatsApp that continues to rule. Thank you very much to all of you for joining us. Happy Diwali to all of you and to our viewers.